Thanks everyone for joining us today. Our show is going to be fabulous. We are going to do a roast beef, and we're going to add different things like our juice sauce and our marinade and our marinara with our cheesy feta bread. It's going to be delicious. All fresh ingredients. And if you've never made a roast beef before, this is your chance. Come with us and let's learn this experience together. Let's get it cooking. I'm so happy to be back. Cooking with Gina Bug. Been gone. Been doing a lot of things lately with our wedding business. I hope y'all enjoy this show. We're going to be doing deli roast beef sliced. It's some of the best stuff I've ever had. But if you ever wondered when you go to Arby's or when company functions have this great roast beef with au jus sauce. Have you ever wondered where it come from or what part of the beef that you're supposed to be using? I got up there to the deli and had no clue as to what I was supposed to be getting. So I talked to the guy at Winn-Dixie who was over the meat market, and he said you always get the tender part of the roast beef. Make sure you get the 100% Agnes beef in the center, and the center is tender. It looks just like this. It's a little bit expensive, but look how big it is. So I want to show y'all that first. I have laid the roast beef out for 1 hour to get it to room temperature. So just lay it out for 1 hour and let it get to room temperature before you cook it. So we're going to open it up. It's a big piece of meat. We're going to open it up and we're going to pat it dry. The front and the back, we're going to pat it dry before we move it into our pan. Okay? Like that. Alright, so we're going to finish patting it off. Make sure that it's patted off real good. Wash my hands or touch anything else. Make sure when you're handling raw meat that you keep your hands washed. And what we're going to do is we're going to marinate it in olive oil. We're just going to rub it, coat it real good, both sides in it. This is just olive oil. Mine's falling apart. As soon as it gets to room temperature, though, you want to start cooking. Start marinating and getting it ready. Okay? Then we're going to take, excuse me, we're going to take some pepper. I'm just going to sprinkle it on top of it. It's just plain old black pepper. Make sure you get it in there good. Usually I'll put all my spices on there and then I'll come back with maybe just a stroke or so of butter on top of my brush and then just kind of marinate it in. Then we're going to take our onion powder. Sprinkle that on it. You can use as much of these ingredients as you want, or you can use your own. Doesn't matter, as long as you cook it at the right temperature. Okay, and then we've got some garlic powder. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. Okay, and then we want to use kosher salt. It's just, or sea salt. I would use kosher salt. That would be better for meat. Coat it real good with it. And then paprika. I like paprika, so I'm going to use about 2 full tablespoons. And then I have this Nature Seasoning by Morton. I put this on just about everything. This is for things uncooked and cooked. You can add this seasoning to it. It's like ranch, the dry ranch dressing. It just goes good with everything. So I'm going to sprinkle. You can get this anywhere, Kroger, Publix, couldn't find it at Piggly Wiggly, or at Winn-Dixie. Does not have it. They don't carry it, but Kroger has it. Just going to sprinkle it on here. And then, like I said, I'm going to take my melted butter here, and I'm just going to put it on my brush, like so, and just rub it in. You can use olive oil if you don't have melted butter, or you can just take a stick of butter, salted, put it in the microwave, and melt it. Just helps with making it tender. And I like to get all my spices all in when I'm cooking. This just seems to be the best way to do it without getting your hands back on the meat. It's gonna be good. Let's see. Okay. That is completely coated. Wash my hands. I'm just going to take my olive oil. I'm just going to kind of drizzle it over the top again, just like this. Okay, and we have set our oven at 500, and we're going to cook it for 15 minutes at 500. When you get done with this, or before you start preparing your roast, what you want to do is turn your oven on, because you want it to be at 500 before you put it in there. And you only want to cook it for 15 minutes at 500 degrees. And that's after you get this. We're going to try to get that crusty coat on top of it, so when you cut it, you can cut it thin sliced, and you can have the center, it can be pink or a little lukewarm, or however you like it. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put this in the oven, and 500 degrees for 15 minutes. Guys, I don't know if I told you, but the rack that I have mine on in the pan with the juice, because it makes it more tender and it'll make it fall apart. We want that crusty outer look and feel, because we're going to be slicing this as roast beef. So make sure that when you start preparing your roast beef, that you put your rack inside of your pan. Make sure it's a good pan. And then sit it inside of there, because you don't want to mess up your roast beef, and you don't want it sticking, you don't want it burning. So this stuff's too expensive. So put your meat on a rack, put your rack inside of your pan, and then you can either coat your rack like I did. I coated mine before I started this. I coated it with Baker's Joy, which is just making sure it doesn't stick to my rack. So it's cooking for 15 minutes. I'm going to set the timer so I'll know when it's ready. Start. See you in 15 minutes. We have about 1 minute left on our 15 minutes at 500, and then we're going to take it and we're going to put it at 300 for 35 minutes. After that, we're going to have to take it out and let the stove go down to 300. Don't just leave it in there, because you're gonna burn it up if you do. So we have 42 seconds left. We're going to take it out. We're going to set our oven to 300. And when it gets to 300 degrees and not 500, we're going to put it back in. I'm going to cook it for 30 minutes. And then we're going to test it. After 30 minutes, depending on the type of stove you have. If you have an electric stove or you have gas stove, all stoves are different at 300 degrees. So after 30 minutes of the 45, we're going to check it. We're going to use a meat thermometer. Piggly Wiggly has these for $2.99. We want the inside, the middle of the roast to be at 135. And when it is, it's done. So we're going to check it after 30 minutes. Okay. It's going off. Get it out. See how it's got that crusty outside on it? That's what we're wanting. Cut this off. And we're going to set our 300. I would say wait about, it's like mine, at least 5 minutes before you stick it back in there, because if you don't, your stove is still at 500 degrees. So we've got that little crust going on for us. So it's good. And we're going to let it sit out for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to put it back in the oven at 30 minutes. We're going to check it. So let's let our stove cool off just a little bit, and we'll be ready. All right, we've let it cool off a little bit. It's down to 300 baking. We're going to put it back in the oven, like so. I'm going to set our timer for a total of 45 minutes. And then after 30 minutes, it gets down to 30, I'm going to take it out and check it and see if it's at 135 with my meat thermometer. If it's not at 135, I'll put it back in. And while that is cooking, we are going to make some bread and au jus sauce. The au jus sauce that I'm going to prepare is this I got from Winn-Dixie. It's French dip au jus sauce. It's really good, but this is concentrate now. This is concentrate. So I'm going to take a tablespoon of it, and I'm going to, I did away with all my little things, didn't I? Let's see. Okay, I'm going to take a tablespoon of my au jus sauce, right here, au jus. And here it is, sorry, right here. And we're going to take a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Please don't get no off-brand name for Worcestershire sauce. Make sure it's the real deal, please. You do not want to put this expensive meat that you have sat there and prepared all this time on, and then dip it in some off-brand nasty sauce. And then we're going to take water. You need about 3 tablespoons full of water. So 1, 2, 3. That will make you a really, really good dipping sauce. After it's sat here for about 5 minutes, then you can go back and put 1 teaspoon of au jus. Let it sit there first, au jus sauce. This is concentrate. Please remember that. If you just dip it straight from this, then it may make you, I mean, I don't know if it'll make you sick or not. I guess if you like it that much, you could, but it's going to be really, really, really strong. So, and there's no sense in doing it that way. So, we're waiting on our roast. We got 42 minutes left. And we're going to make some rosemary. Isn't that pretty? I come from my rosemary plant outside. We're going to make some rosemary bread for dipping. or you can put your roast beef on it, add mayonnaise, whatever you want to, or you can just dip your roast beef, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to strip this rosemary, and sorry, have my sauce. We're going to come back to it in 5 minutes. We're going to go back to our roast in 30 minutes. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to cut my bread. Now I got this bread at Winn-Dixie. It's fairly cheap no matter where you get it. You get Piggly Wiggly, wherever. In the deli. This is the deli bread. And it's usually just get the plain Jane white bread like this. It's pretty reasonable. So I like this because you can do anything with it. You can change it, and I mean you can just do whatever you want to do. And I just got my sauce over. And show you what I'm doing here. And I'm going to take it, and I'm just going to do it right down the middle right here, just like this. Okay, open it up, just like so. All right, the first thing that you put on your bread, if you're doing like a specialty bread, is whatever salt you're going to put on it needs to go first. So I'm going to use sea salt. See this? It's just a little grinder. I love sea salt. So I'm going to use my grinder, coat it real good. And then I'm going to take my black pepper and put it on here. The reason for this, if you put butter, like I'm going to use my liquid butter, if you put anything after your salt and pepper, your salt and pepper is not going anywhere. Okay. And then I'm going to add my butter. Just like this. Like I said, you can melt your butter or you can use olive oil, whichever one you want to do. I love this melted butter. You can get it from Amazon. There's a link all over my page for Cooking with Gina Bug where you can order this. It has went up. It's a little expensive now. I guess COVID just made everything go up, but it is the best thing because you don't have to worry with anything, and it's 100% carb free, and it's real butter. You just can't get any better than that. All right, I'm gonna take my rosemary. It's been outside. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to wash it. Stick it in this water. Stick it in a cup of water. That's what I did. See this? Wash it off. Might have them tiny little spiders or bugs on it. You don't want to be swallowing that. It ain't gonna kill you, but you know, you'll never know. Okay. Then we're just gonna break it up. If you don't have rosemary, and you don't have any rosemary in your cabinet either, then you can use anything. Cilantro, chives. It's a good as a nut. Chives are really good. So, and then we're going to use our minced garlic. You can use real garlic, or you can just buy it like I did. Be a little lazy. I'm just going to evenly spread it on bread, just like this. And then I'm going to take my butter again and just go back over it. You can tell I'm not soaking my bread in it. I'm just making sure it's covered. Then I'm going to take, this is canned simply vinaigrette. You can use whatever you want to. Italian dressing is good, or you can just simply put olive oil on it. You don't have to use this. I like this one because it has the vinegar in it. And this is 100% olive oil and 100% vinegar. And it's Ken's Steakhouse is the one who puts it out. I just like it. But you don't have to use, this one you can use Italian dressing, you can use olive oil, you can use more butter, whatever you want to do. And we're just going to kind of drizzle it around a bit. Just like that. 6, 7, 9. Okay. It's been 5 minutes. We're going to check on our au jus sauce and see. Let's see. Yep. We're going to add another tablespoon into, like this, into it, and then we'll be done with our sauce. You want more, you just have to keep repeating the steps and figure out how much you need per what. There you go. All it was a tablespoonful of Worcestershire sauce, a tablespoonful of au jus sauce, and a half a cup of water to that. And then you come back in 5 minutes after it's sat, and then you put another tablespoon of au jus sauce in. Okay, we've got our butter, got everything on our bread, got our rosemary, our fresh rosemary. Everything's on here, so we're going to let this sit. We're going to put this in the oven right before we take our meat out to check it. We'll put our bread in. And this will be really good with the sauce. You can also use this bread for you could put, like I have some fresh tomatoes, lime, green, yellow, orange, red. I got these from Harmon's Family Farms in Opelika. I tell you what, they're so good. They're so good. But you could actually put, if you wanted to add some of this, you could actually come over here and you could add this to your bread and toast it. Toast the top of it like we did the roast beef, and we could sit this here at 500, toast the top of it, take it out, and then cook it at 315 for about 10 minutes. So we'll do one of them that way and just wasn't planning on it. Well, let's do that. We'll roast it and have some roasted tomatoes. Let's add a little bit of bacon bits to it also. And these are real bacon bits. I prefer real bacon, but I just kind of thought about doing this real quick, so I wasn't really prepared for it. So I'm just going to layer it with some bacon bits. Make sure they're real though. And there's just some things that you just have to do real. And then I'm going to come back with my butter on top of it. There we go. A little bit more rosemary, since I added stuff to it. Wash it off. And kind of put it on top. It'll roast too, so I know it looks pretty. Now rosemary is real strong until you cook it at a high temperature, and then the taste minimizes. So if you don't like rosemary, don't put a whole lot on there because it's a very, very, very strong herb. All right, we've got 32 minutes left, so I'm going to take it out at 30 minutes. We've got our bread done. We've got our sauce done. We're ready to eat as soon as we can check our roast beef and cut it. Now for the best results with this roast beef, the best thing would be when it got to 135 degrees in the center would be to take it out, let it cool, put it in the refrigerator overnight, and cut it tomorrow. That is the best way you can do roast beef. If not, you take the risk of breaking the little crisp thing that you created on top. We're going to try to cut it. I've not done it that way without putting it in the refrigerator, but we're gonna try both ways and see what happens. And I'll do an update after I put mine in the refrigerator tonight. But if it's not something that you want to eat tonight, your best results would be when it comes out at 135. Do not cut it. Cover it up, put it in your refrigerator overnight, and then cut it tomorrow. We're getting close. We got about a minute and a half before we check our meat. And I have put, this is the bread we were doing. I'm going to do another half of a loaf because I have just jam-packed this one full of stuff. You know, bread's one of those things, it's like a potato. You can just put whatever you want on it. The only thing that I added that I didn't tell y'all about was sour cream. Some sour cream. I just put a little strip down the middle. And some feta cheese. Went on the outside of it. And all I did was just sprinkle it down and just kind of working it in. And then I put butter over on top of it, just like so. And then I took the other half of the loaf. I'm just going to use it as just regular bread. We're just going to make sandwich bread out of this with just a little bit of rosemary. That's all that's going on it. I've already washed this. So, take this. Like I said, if you don't like rosemary, don't put it on there because it's a very, very strong herb. Okay. I'm going to add salt and pepper. And I know I said before you use salt first, and you do. I didn't do it on this one because I wasn't planning on putting salt on it, but then I thought better of it with rosemary. So, I added it last instead of first. But so now I've got me some dipping bread, and I'll tell you another thing that's really good with this dipping bread is marinara sauce. You can get you some marinara sauce and eat with this dipping bread. This is really good. And all this was 3 tomatoes, fresh tomatoes, not that grocery store crap. Fresh tomatoes with bacon bits, 100% real bacon bits, salt and pepper, and garlic. And if I had any real garlic, I would have used real garlic cloves, but I just didn't have any for this meal. But if you're going to eat bread and you're going to go all out, you might as well go on out. Just, you know, go ahead and get your groove on with it then. You can put anything on here. I just put tomatoes, peppers, just a few peppers, bell peppers, and my sour cream. The sour cream just kind of, it's like mayonnaise. It just kind of makes sure your stuff stays together. So, all right, let's check our meat. Let's see what it the center says. Maybe put it on 45 and check it. Let's see what it does. It's been in here for 30 minutes. I'm going to take it out. Oh. And we're going to use our meat thermometer. Don't know where it's at. All right, we're just going to stick it right here. See what it says? Okay, ours is not at 135 yet, so I'm going to put it back in. I'm going to round this back off to 15 minutes and put it back in here for 15 more minutes. Okay, I'm just going to cut my bread. See, I got my bread here. Put it on here. Go ahead. And I've got me one of these little full things. Sometimes when I overextend myself and put too much stuff on my food, you have to have something like this to keep from having to, clean your oven constantly. And as hot as it is right now, you don't want to do that. So let's take our meat out and we're going to check it, see what temperature it is. Arby's ain't got nothing on us. We got the meats too. Let's see. We'll put it in. A little handy dandy, if I could see. Let's see. Put it in the, see if we can see what temperature it is. Okay, we're at 131. Anywhere between 130 and 135 is where you want to be. So I'm going to let it cool off. for about 15 or 20 minutes before I cut it, because if I cut it right now, it would just split it wide open. Got to let it sit and cool before you if you're going to cut it tonight, let it cool first. If you're going to put it in the refrigerator and cut it tomorrow, let it cool and then put it in the refrigerator. But and it will be better. I'm just going to take a small little slice off the end of mine tonight just to show you. I just want to try it and see it before I put it in the refrigerator. And then I'll do the rest of mine tomorrow after it cools off and has sat overnight in the refrigerator. So I am going to put my bread in though. My delicious bread. Going to go in here. And I'm going to put my foil. It's like a napkin for the stove. There we go. And we're going to cook that. Turned it off. I'm going to cook this at bake it at 350 for 12 minutes. So it can get that fire on the very top. We don't want to burn our bread, so I want the tomatoes to get done and the peppers, but I want them to be kind of sauteed into my bread. So the last 2 or 3 minutes of the 12 minutes, if my bread is done and my cheese is melted, I'm going to change it from 350 to 500 for the last 5 minutes and let the top of it kind of roast. We'll just see how it's doing. All right, last 5 minutes of our bread. We're going to hit cancel. And we're going to hit our roll 500. And we're going to do it for 5 minutes on 500. So hit the start button. And in 5 minutes, it'll start toasting the top of that. You want it kind of soft on the bottom. You don't want it hard. So it's looking really good. So it should be done in about 4 minutes, depending on your stove. If it's not got that nice little roasted tomatoes on the top of it, then just put it back in there for a few more minutes until it is. My oven light on my stove never works. My husband has replaced it 1,000 times and it just keeps blowing. So if you have an oven light, that's the perfect thing to use. All right, I took the bread out that we made, and I cooked it for 5 minutes on 500. Got that little toasty coat on the top of it. Got me some marinara sauce. I'm going to eat mine with. Or you can eat it with anything you want to, but I don't like to make marinara, so it's just too easy just to buy it, and you can add whatever you want to it. And this is a really, really good brand. I think I got that at Piggly Wiggly. But it's just see how easy it is to cut. See how pretty that is? And it's not burnt. The middle of it, see that? And the middle of it is done, but it's still moist. So, I'm running out of room. I'm gonna let my husband come over here and try it. Tell y'all how good it is. You ready?
I'll be glad to try it. I am more than happy to be the guinea pig over here.
Okay.
My goodness, this looks so good.
There you go.
Take one of these.
Yes, sir. Dip it in your marinara sauce or in your au jus sauce, whichever one you want to use.
Holy cow. You don't even have to dip it in anything. That is so incredible. My goodness. That's a meal just by itself.
Really good. If it wasn't for the bread, it'd be all keto.
Oh, perfect. Absolute perfection.
Thank you. So we've got, and I've just got plain bread in here cooking now. I'm just going to cook the other half of that loaf because I like just the plain bread with the rosemary and the butter on it too. So we're still waiting on our roast to cool off. We don't want to cut it hot. And it seems to be cooling off pretty fast. So we're just going to take just a small part of it and we're going to cut it. Like I said, I've never cut it right out of the oven before, even 20 or 30 minutes after that. I always wait for it to cool off, put it in the refrigerator, let it sit overnight, and then have it the next day and I cut it. So this is going to be new to me. And then I'm going to take the rest of it, just in case we mess it up, and cut it tomorrow. Okay, we took a little bitty portion. Did we start? Yeah. A little bitty portion off of the our roast. Put it on our carving board. We just want to say now, we've let it sit out and cool off for about 35 minutes. So let it cool off. Don't cut it hot. And then cut it very, very thin. Look at that. Look at all, oh, it looks so good. We did a good job. Really pretty, really pretty. We have made deli sliced roast beef, au jus sauce, and we've made us some stuffed bread to go with it. Look how pretty that is. I'm going to put the rest of it in the refrigerator over here. That's what we just took a little portion off this side of it, and we're going to put the rest of it into the refrigerator and get it out tomorrow and finish cutting it up. All right, that's what it looks like, y'all. Look at that. It's beautiful. See that? We've just we did the thin slice. Look how pretty that is. You just take a little bit, put it in your au jus sauce, or you can put it. I guess you can do, or you can put it on your roast beef sandwich. Get you some Swiss cheese. It's really good with roast beef. I made the cheesy bread with a little bit of the bread for the feta crumbles, and the sour cream is a really good combination with roast beef. So I think it's one of the prettiest ones I've ever done. It looks beautiful, beautiful. Let me get my my white bread out, and we will be done. Oh, almost burned it. I did burn it. Yep. Just a little bit. 1 minute to spare, and it got a little bit too brown. That's okay. I'm going to, it's probably because it was already hot. It's too hot. I put my my butter, and I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil on it. Take it in. And I'm going to cut these pieces for sandwiches. And my kids, my husband, my neighbors, all my kids' friends, or whoever comes and eats, can have their pick if they want to do it with marinara, if they want to do it with just a sandwich. So, and y'all please remember to follow me, follow us at Cooking with Gina Bug. It's very important. When you're using branded material, it helps us out. The more followers I have, then the more branded material I can get, and the more things I can offer to you, in the future. I'm really trying to build it up where we can do other things. But we also have Imagine This Films. It also is our website. We do wedding videos, and we do photos, photography, for weddings or any event. Doesn't matter what it is. And that is Imagine This Films. You can find us on Facebook, Snapchat, Snitch, WhatsApp app, or WhatsApp. Basically anywhere there's a social media platform, I'm pretty much on it. So, and also you'll be, if you follow me, you can keep up with all my live shows, when I'm going to be doing it, who I'm going to be doing it with, and where we're going to be. I mean, we could be in Florida in 2 weeks, and we could be doing a cooking show in Florida, so you just never know. But, yeah, guys, I appreciate everybody hanging in there with me. I know it's been kind of rough the last 3 or 4 months. I've had some personal issues, family issues. going on. But God willing, everything's going to be fine. So I hope everybody's enjoyed this video. I hope you're going to enjoy your delicious roast beef. And going to be a hero with your kids because you got stuffed cheesy bread. I don't know about the tomatoes. Mine don't like tomatoes. But I hope everybody enjoys it. And y'all let me know how it turns out tomorrow. When you put it in the refrigerator tonight and you get it out tomorrow and you finish cutting it up, send me an email, send me a text, send me a link, something, pictures. I'd love to see them. And let me know how you do with yours. I'd love to know. Thanks for coming, and have a good night.
Thanks for watching Cooking with Gina Bug. Please be sure to follow so you don't miss out on any future videos.